Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Chronicle video. And today, we are here to review and test out the brand new anniversary Bell and Ais, the brand new festival Bell and Ais, of course, the first ever fest units we've gotten in Danmachi Chronicle. And of course, that means something, that means a lot because we've been waiting for festival units since the very beginning of the game. In fact, we thought at so many points in this game's lifespan so far that we would get fest units, but up until now, there was no indication that we were gonna ever get any. And finally, for the anniversary, they decided to drop them. So of course, we got to talk about that, and of course what that means for the units themselves. I know a lot of people have had discourse over the fact that they cost a little bit more to dupe out using rainbow bonds. We'll talk about that in this video as well. But along with that, their performance as well. Do they set themselves up to be worthy of that festival title, or are you kind of just praying for a premium for no reason? Let's talk about that in this video. Let's break it all down. And of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm actually quite curious to see what you guys have to say down below. And along with that as well, if you guys would like to see a proper direct comparison video between all the attackers that we have, Bell, Ais, the original Ais, and Wedding Ryu, I will try my best to make that happen, of course, right? It is a little bit tricky to do a comparison video because, of course, spoiler alert, I'm gonna give you guys 3 seconds. If you haven't checked out my summons, feel free to do so. But in 3, 2, 1... if you didn't know, I did get Bell to A2, and of course I have Wedding Ryu at A1, and Ais is only at A0, unfortunately. Now I'm really hoping that between now and when I make that comparison video, which I'm hoping to make it either tomorrow or day after tomorrow most likely, so Friday or Saturday at the time of this recording, I'm really hoping I maybe get a copy of Ais. It would be amazing if I do, but if we don't, I think it's gonna have to be A2 versus A1 versus A0. But the thing is, right, in this situation, I would say that A1 Wedding Ryu is probably the most integral one to get, I would say, probably. Obviously, A2 would help a little bit, but it's not a major thing as well. And neither is A3. A1 was the big one for Wedding Ryu, of course, right? Being able to effectively get that extra critical damage bonus, getting that... a damage increase to the special move, as well as, of course, the action skill damage as well. I think that was the most important thing we needed on Wedding Ryu. So of course, getting A1 on Wedding Ryu is more than fine. I'm worrying that I feel like I'm gonna really underestimate Ais if I do that comparison video. So let me know what you guys think. Should I still go ahead with it and try it out? Because I think I've got everybody at their required levels. I think Bell A2 is a must, and we'll come on to him in just a second. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see that comparison video, of course, and obviously if you want to still see that happen with the way I've got my units set up. Now with Bell, right, I mean, first festival unit, and one of the most anticipated units, right? For the anniversary, we've been waiting to see what they'll cook up for the anniversary and everything, right? When it comes to not only just the content side of things, but the unit side of things, because of course, for the half anniversary, we got one of the strongest units in the game in the form of Earth Bell, right? An amazing unit, obviously insane at A3, still pretty solid at earlier levels as well, but I would probably say that he really starts cooking once you get him to A2 and above. Actually, a very similar situation with the Wind Bell as well, right? The new anniversary Bell, the festival Bell, is very similar. While he still can perform well at A0 and A1, he will truly shine at A2 and above. And there's a lot of reasons as to why that's happening, and including one very important reason that's not been seen in this game before at A2, of course, right? So let's break it down. First and foremost, let's take a look at all of his awakenings and go step by step to show you guys what he can do at every level. So his normal attack at A0 is a 124.8% attack multiplier, same as a lot of other units, if not every single other unit in the game, pretty much. That's an attacker unit. I think the only exception is, I think, Artemis, in fact, but very basic, right? Very straightforward, nothing to add on there. His first skill is Sonic Rush, and it has an attack multiplier of 117%, cooldown of 400, and applies a 26% reduces technique cooldown to your unit, which is really, really good. And it also consumes 2 Etu Rare of your own unit and increases damage by 20% per etu-rare consumed. Now, this is where you need to understand that he is a very similar unit to Water Bell. In fact, the best way to describe this Wind Bell is like he's somewhat of a combination of Earth Bell and Water Bell. He doesn't take the absolute bests of both worlds, but he takes a lot of stuff from both of these units and adds it to his own kit in some way, shape, or form. Is the best way to put it, basically. It really is the best way to put it. He does take a lot from both units effectively. So he is also another unit that does take a lot of stacks and gets a lot of stacks and uses those stacks to basically deal more damage via his skill 1 and also his skill 2. So Burner Bolt has an attack multiplier of 143%. It has a cooldown of 800. It is a one-hit front-facing linear AoE attack, and it inflicts burn on enemies for 5 seconds with an attack multiplier of 3%. It consumes 5 etu-rare of own unit and increases damage by 20% per etu-rare consumed. After charging your attack, which you can do with the second skill, you can either do a fast launch or you can charge it. The charged attack actually has an attack multiplier of 351%, and it has a 5-hit front-facing linear AoE attack, so it becomes even larger in terms of the amount of hits it does and has a higher attack multiplier as well. It also inflicts burn on enemies for a longer duration and for a higher attack multiplier amount. So actually, this is one thing that we were a little bit concerned about when we saw the video and skill preview, right? Was that we didn't know if the charged attack would actually matter that much, and it does. It does matter a lot as it's shown here. Now we move on to a special move, Crack Firebolt. It has an attack multiplier of 780%. It has a cooldown of 3000, so a little bit higher than most units. Most units is 2000. It applies 20 etu-rare to your own unit for 10 seconds. 65% increases technique gauge accumulation rate, 13% increases movement speed, activates a field effect for 5 seconds, and inflicts damage with attack multiplier of 6.5% every 0.25 seconds on enemies that enter the field. So basically, this does a lot. So it gives you the etu-rare that you need for your skill 1, skill 2. It gives you movement speed. It also increases how much you gain in terms of your technique cooldown. Basically, it reduces your technique cooldown massively by basically allowing you to get your gauge up faster effectively. And then on top of that, it sets up a field effect that will allow you to deal damage to the enemies every 0.25 seconds, which is pretty darn solid, especially considering the field is on for 5 seconds, right? So that's pretty good, right? Now at A1, the special move changes. Just like every other unit, the special move will change here. And effectively what you're getting here is you're getting a higher attack multiplier. The technique gauge goes up and it's for a longer duration. 15 seconds and 78% increased technique gauge, basically 15.6% to the movement speed, so that goes up. And you also gain an HP regen of 4%, which is super nice, especially in game modes like Abyssal Exploration. That video will be out tomorrow, by the way, for sure. I want to talk about that game mode because that is a very important game mode as well. The attack multiplier also goes up by a decentish chunk, 3% I think, right? Basically, yeah, 3.2%, which is pretty darn solid. Now, this is where A2 becomes a must for me personally. This is where he changes massively because for the very first time, we see the normal attack of a unit changing. The attack multiplier goes up a little bit, but along with that, you also get etu-rare for 10 seconds or when you hit the 3rd and 4th attacks of your normal attack strings, allowing you to basically get more etu-rare. And the etu-rare can be stacked up to 30 times. So you can get up to 30 etu-rare stacks, which means you get a bonus of 30% STR. And considering that this man is focused towards STR, as you can see on your screens on the right, STR 677, Intelligence 621, it is super good. It is so good for sure. So that is very important, of course, right? So that at A2 is amazing, but along with that as well, along with the normal attack increase, you also get a technique 1 improvement as well, because effectively what you get here is a bonus to your reduces technique cooldown. You also get a reduction in your special move cooldown boost as well, 10% there as well, which is super nice. And then of course your attack multiplier goes up as well, which is not bad at all. Technique 2 sees an improvement at A3 basically, where you get a boost to the attack multiplier, you get more burn, a longer burn duration on the fast attack effectively, along with a higher multiplier. But then the charged multiplier also goes up. You get an increase to the charged attack multiplier, the burn goes up as well, and so does the attack multiplier of the burn as well. And then on top of that, of course, what it doesn't show you is that basically you also get a wind damage increase to your own unit by by 26% for 15 seconds, which is really, really good. That is impressive to me. But along with that, A4 doesn't see any change, which is, in my opinion, actually really good, because I initially thought that the normal attack modifier might be put on A4 at any point when they do decide to, you know, change up the normal attacks and stuff, right? I thought that they'd add it to A4. So the fact that they've added it to an earlier awakening, in my opinion, W decision there. Absolutely fantastic decision there. And it doesn't force players to have to go to A4 to see a major improvement, right? It's only a stats bonus still. And then at A5, basically, you will see just a huge numbers increase once again. Effectively, you will see the attack multiplier go above 1000%. The technique gauge accumulation rate goes up to 91% for 20 seconds. Movement speed goes up, and then, of course, you get a higher HP regen and, of course, a higher attack multiplier bonus. His special move becomes really strong at A5, of course, but that's just every unit, basically, in the game. Now, one thing before we talk about him in-game, and, of course, we'll try him out, but before that, we'll check out Ais. We have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is, of course, the fact that these guys require to use 20 rainbow bonds or 20 bonds as festival units. Now, I will reiterate my point that I've been making over the last day or two in various comments and, of course, in the live stream and stuff, right? This is a festival unit. They are a premium unit. And unfortunately, what that means is they will come at a premium cost as well. This is something we've seen in other gacha games. Danmachi Memoria Freese did this with Hero Festa units and even time-limited units. In that game, you had different bonds to use, basically. So like how we have rainbow bonds here, you had prism bonds, star bonds, and hero bonds. Each one was for different units. So prism bonds were for regular units, star bonds were for time-limited units, and hero bonds were for Hero Festa units. So you had to basically try and farm every single one of them, and some of them weren't even farmable. Hero bonds, you couldn't even farm. You had to sell dupes of characters or dupes of Hero Festa characters specifically in order to get those bonds. And so many other gacha games do the same thing. Legends, Dragon Ball Legends, that is, has a different upgrade material for sparking units, regular sparking units, and Legends limited sparking units, Legends limited Z power, basically, right? LLZ power. So the thing is, right, I understand people might find this whack, and I absolutely agree with that. That is, 100% fair to say that, it feels like it's a bit expensive, right, for no reason, and especially some people feel like Bell is not worth it. I understand that as well, but I think that for the future, right, let's say if we get another Earth Bell, right, let's say in 6 months time for the half anniversary, we get a festival unit, and it's basically Earth Bell V2, but even stronger levels of Earth Bell, like Earth Bell V5, basically. Let's assume that, right? Is that worth it at that point? Is the rainbow ones worth it at that point? So I mean, you're gonna see that being the case, basically, where the units will be worth it. The units will be worth it inevitably. Maybe not now. Maybe this wind bell may not seem that way because of the plethora of other wind units we have in the game, right? Like Wedding Ryu, Ais, and so on and so forth. But maybe the long-term future units, they'll definitely be worth it, maybe, And it's not like you need 10 dupes, by the way, for this, by the way. Whenever you get a dupe of Bell, Chronicle, and or Ais in the banner or via the exchange ticket, you will get 20 bonds no matter what. So don't worry about that. You are not getting scammed out of you having to summon for another 5 copies and in total summon for 10 copies to get this bell to A5. No, you don't have to do that. All you need is still only 5 copies via the gacha. The rainbow bonds is where the premium comes into play, which I still like I said, I understand people may be very frustrated with it. All right, now let's take a look at Ais. And by the way, don't worry, I will be leaving a timestamp for you guys to see the actual in-game stuff, right? I want to go over everything with Ais and stuff so that you guys can have an idea on what these units do at various awakening levels. So at A0, Ais has an attack multiplier of 325%, 60-second cooldown, and it's a one-hit front-facing AO attack, and it attracts a large number of enemies. So a crowd control unit in Ais is really nice. It allows you to pull the enemies towards you and allows you to basically pop off to them in a closer range, which will be amazing, of course, right? You also get a shield for 15 seconds, which is super nice as well. I think that'll be very lovely to have in terms of when you attract them closer to you, you'll have that shield to protect yourself while you're dealing damage, which will be amazing, honestly. It'll be really good. You also get a constant damage increase of 32.5% when enemy is burning in battles, 26% stamina to your unit, and 13% wind damage. A lot of people might feel that this is a little bit harsh, 32.5% damage increase when the enemy is burning, but you have so many units that burn. Bell is a burning unit. Haruhime can inflict burn as well. There is, you know, the Fire Bell, the Fire Reveria that can inflict burn as well. The Golden Time units inflict burn. So there is a plethora of units in this game that are capable of inflicting burn. So I wouldn't worry too much about this one, to be honest. There's a lot of ways to inflict burn in the game now, and there are some battle items as well actually that also inflict burn. So I think this is not as bad as some people may think it is. At A1, the numbers go up basically, but along with that, the assist skill now also increases action skill damage for your unit as well for 15 seconds, which is really, really nice. At A2, you see the numbers going up for the passives. A3, same thing. A4, same thing. And then at A5, once again, you basically get a bit of a boost as well to the numbers, and you get a longer duration as well. So Ais is pretty good, but to be quite honest, I still think that while Ais can be a monster of a unit, if you get her at an A1 or A2 even, I would say, if you have Wedding Ais at a higher awakening, which I unfortunately do not have, I think if you have Wedding Ais at say A4 or A5 even, I would say, or A3, anywhere A3 or above, I would probably say that A3, yeah, A3 would be the best place because you get the wind damage and also that critical rate bonus as well. I think A3 or above, you are in a better position to just say that Wedding Ais is good enough for you, to be quite honest. Absolutely. There is no two ways about it. I think that is absolutely a fair thing to say, but I also do think Ais is very good, man. She is very, very good as well. So just keep that in mind, of course, right? That Ais can be a really good option here. Their stats are very similar, by the way. The Ais and the two Aises, they're identical nearly. And it's the same thing with Bell, by the way. If we take a look at Bell at max, right? 754 strength, 691 intelligence, 276 dexterity is identical to winning Ryu stats. 754, 691, 276. Ais, I think, has a slightly different stat spread. She has the more balanced stat spread of STR and intelligence. But what that means is with Bell, if you go for full-on strength, you're going to see a bit of a bonus to him. And along with the rare bonuses giving you 30% strength at max stats, yeah, you're gonna be at a good spot there basically with Bell. But anyways, let's use him in game. Of course, we've got a couple of places we can use him, right? So first and foremost, I want to try him out in Test of Strength because of course that is the extremely hard content that is available in the game right now, right? Of course, we're facing off against a Cadmus reincarnate, or a remnant version of Cadmus, I should say, not reincarnate, a Cadmus remnant version, of course, right? Another good thing as well, by the way, that this game is doing right now is it is allowing you to test out Bell at a complete max awakening, which is kind of a misleading way of putting it, but I think that's pretty cool as well, that you can try him out and see how you find him at a higher awakening, or just generally in terms of playability, I feel like. But let's go into this and let's try out Bell for ourselves in this game mode, right? Now, one thing I'm going to do is quickly just adjust my scene cards, and this is where I will say you want very specific scene cards for him that I unfortunately do not have. I unfortunately do not have the right scene cards for this Bell. Sadly, I am missing some scene cards that actually would be pretty insane for him. Now, one thing I will say immediately, one of the scene cards you ideally would love to have on this guy is, in all honesty, is this scene card. If we go over to the field guide, and we go over here, right? If we go over to the field guide and go to the scene cards section, right? I think one of the scene cards you want to get for him, to be quite honest, is this one. This Golden Time scene card over here. It's right above my head. It's the one with Hestia and Lily with all the Valis and gold around him. Right above the Valentine's Ryu one. That is a very insane one for him, because effectively what that does is when the enemy is burning and you attack the enemy while they are burning, you will be able to get special move cooldown on your unit. So that means you're basically able to get Bell's special move up faster, which will allow you to basically generate more Eturer more faster. And along with that, you're able to inflict a lot of fields around the, enemy area, basically allowing you to deal a lot more damage, basically. So yes, you kind of want to get that scene card for him. I'll talk about a lot more of the scene cards you want to get for him and stuff, right? But that is something you want to keep in mind. But anyways, let's get into the fight and let's try out this Bell Crandell. I'm going to quickly just adjust the scene cards a little bit. Everything is fine there. And what I'm going to do here is quickly just change this unit for Haruhime, just so that we can get some supportability there. And we can get a little bit more damage through Haruhime as well. So let's just quickly do this as well, just to get a little bit more supportability there, basically, and get things underway, of course, right? If we do this, let's switch these two around, and let's give it a shot. Let's try out Belle Crenel in Test of Strength and various other game modes. All right, we are in the fight now. Let's try it out and see how Belle performs in game. And this is also a way for me to learn more about Belle as well, because I'm still also learning about Belle as time goes on. You know, this guy is completely brand new, and in my opinion, of course, you know, it'll take some time for us to get used to him and stuff. Now, when it comes to his ability board, I have also gotten him at only section 4 in the ability board as well, which is obviously something that I think a lot of people should be able to get to fairly easily. Also, there is a new way for us to farm the ability board as well. I'll make a video about that tomorrow as well, of course, right? There's a lot of videos coming out tomorrow. But one thing about Belle that you need to know as well is that I find him to be the fastest of all the 3 attacker units. Like, don't get me wrong, I think you know, Ais is still, you know, relatively modern enough to be, you know, good enough, right? So is Wedding Ryu is pretty solid. But one thing I'm very disappointed in both units is both of them are very, the best way to put it, both of them are very slow when it comes to their attack speed. With Belle, at least, right, when you're doing his normal attacks, right, he is fast enough, in my opinion, to be able to, you know, generate your, you know, your cooldowns and your gauges relatively well. Whereas I feel like with Ais and all of these units, right, that is the biggest problem with them, in my opinion, is that they tend to be a little bit slow, and that gives me a little bit of a headache, to be quite honest. It makes me very pissed off with those units in particular. But along with that, the other reason why I'm a big fan of Belle so far as well, in my opinion as well, that makes him a really good option as well, is you basically are able to effectively get what is, in my opinion as well, a very interesting unit that is able to take a very new mechanic and make it very interesting with the charge mechanic, right? Obviously, it allows you to play in a very different way as well, right? Some people might find it a little bit clunky. I think it's incorporated fine enough, to be quite honest, right? Obviously, it's their first iteration, but I think that it allows you to go down a route of like, okay, if I want to quickly burn a unit to just get that quick 5-second burn to be able to take advantage of my scene cards and stuff like that, I can. If I want to go full charge to break a shield, I can, like I did towards the end there, of course, right? So I think that allows you to play with Belle in very different ways as well, which is in a very different way as well, which I think is pretty fascinating and honestly a lot of fun as well. But the thing is as well, one thing I will say that I think Belle does really well along with all of this as well is his cooldowns aren't out of this world. One of the big issues I have with Wedding Ryu, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's video in more detail, is that her cooldowns are a little bit ridiculous. I mean, that second technique cooldown is fucking unbelievable, right? His special move cooldown is at least okay, 1500. It's about the same as most units, a little bit less than most units, but still, it's just ridiculous that it's such a high cooldown. And while Technique 1 can help you with that, it just feels so frustrating when you don't get it up in time. That was something I was struggling with in yesterday's Test of Strength when I was trying to do it without, you know, when I was trying to do it without the new Belle, right? I was trying to clear it without the new Belle. I was trying to use Wedding Ryu. I was like, come on, you gotta keep going, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, and she wasn't going. So it felt a little bit rough there. I feel like this anniversary Belle is able to, you know, do his thing at a really good pace, which is the most important thing. He feels fluid enough to the point where it's fun. Now, comparison to the unit on his right, Earth Belle, I don't think so. I think Earth Belle is still probably one of the most fluid units, one of the most mobile units in the game, but that doesn't mean that Belle doesn't have his damage. I mean, you saw the amount of damage he was able to provide us in that fight. It was really good. I mean, now we'll go over to a story quest and we'll try him out again, and hopefully we can also check out Ais as well. We can see how Ais will perform there as well in a little bit more detail. Let's see. Should we go to... I'll go to Season 2. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think we have a... Oh, really? Is that the fight we have for Wind in that one? Oh, no. Maybe Apollon? Oh, really? Why is everything fire in this stage? Okay. All right, game. All right. What about this this stage? Do we have any wind weak stages? No, of course not. Let me check again here. Do we have any wind stages that are interesting for us to take on, basically? No, it's only this one. Okay, great. All right, Goliath, here we come. We'll have to try against probably the Goliath most likely, because it'll be a little bit interesting to see how we fare against the Goliath, which is of course not type advantage, in fact type disadvantage even. I'm actually curious to see how we'll fare here. We have the recommended power, so we'll do fine here. But let's see how Bell fares in a type disadvantage scenario as well, because that will also be fairly interesting, right? I did try and take him into the raid the other day solo, and while he did perform okay, he can't do it solo, obviously, against the blue enemy, of course, right? It wouldn't have worked at all, but surprisingly, he did hold his own. And to be fair, we are dealing enough some damage here, to be honest. Obviously, one of the things you'll need to keep in mind, of course, with this Bell is, unfortunately, because we're going type disadvantage, we aren't going to generate the ults as fast as possible. As you can see in the case of Bell, he is not generating his ult as fast as possible because it is type disadvantage. Let me run away as well quickly. Another thing you want to keep in mind regarding this Bell, by the way, is if you do his normal attacks without even attacking an enemy, he actually still gets the Eturare charge, by the way. So in fact, if you really want to try and, you know, take advantage of that, make sure you do take advantage of that factor as well, because it will help you out massively. All right, let's see if we can do this basically. I was trying to see if the charge would actually allow us to basically get a little bit of time there, but that's fine. No, not a worry, not a worry. All right, let's see if I can get up close and personal and do this now. Let's see if we can do this now. I should have used my Haruhime there as well. Let's see how well this does. All right, trying to do this as well. All right, let's see. Eturare, come on, charge up, boom. Wow, that's a decent amount of damage type disadvantage. I mean, we did use Ais there. We did use our special move there as well. But, like, that's still fairly good. I mean, we did obviously have our Eturare charges at max pretty much, which is pretty darn solid. Let's see if we can use Seer to basically give us a little bit of a shield as well. There, well, yeah, I forgot that it's only on herself. I forgot. That I forgot about. All right, let's see here. Oh, the Eturare charges go down by 1 as well. It just doesn't fully disappear as well. That's good. I wasn't sure if it was, like, any different to the Water Bell or not, but it is exactly like Water Bell, which is good in a way. It's good. That is very, very good. So you don't lose all your stacks even if you forget to, you know, charge it up. All right, let's do this. Come on, there we go. All right, let's see if we can do this. Oh wow, that break is insane. I mean, that is not bad at all. I must admit, that is not bad at all. Ais can do 22k on resist is not bad at all. That would be around 35, 40-ish k basically without any resist basically, and a neutral damage. Weak will probably be even more, which is really solid. I mean, yeah, I really like the look of this Bell. I think he is pretty darn good, to be quite honest. But again, you need to use him right. You have to use him right, or you're gonna, you know, potentially lose out on what is good amount of damage with him, to be honest. You will lose out on a little bit of damage with him. You have to keep in mind the Eturare. You have to make sure your stacks are around 30 always. It's again the reason why I think A2 is a must for him. In my opinion, if you do get him right, I think if you are at A1, it's worth the rainbow bonds, because A2 will make him a brand new unit, you know, with the with the normal attack buffs and the technique 1 skill as well, you know, boost as well, with the special move cooldown reduction as well as the technique cooldown reduction. I mean, you're able to basically get everything up so much quicker as well, right? I just think that A2 will help you out so much in just making sure that Bell is continuously going. You know, he's going to keep attacking, and he'll perform exceptionally well as well in that sort of situation as well. And in terms of his scene cards, right, like I said, I think that Golden Time scene card is a must. Unfortunately, I don't have it, so I can't really, you know, show it and put it on Bell to say like, yeah, this is the one you want to have on him, right? I think that is a really good scene card to have. In terms of some free-to-play scene card options before we get to some summonable ones, I think the Ultimate Love scene card is pretty darn good for him, because you get a 30% crit rate bonus when the enemy is burned, which of course with him you're gonna have the enemy burned, right, with his charged attacks and everything, right? You also get a crit damage bonus, which works really well with that crit rate bonus as well. This Hostess of Fertility scene card is amazing, along with this Diva Harmonia scene card. Both of them give 44% strength, which with Bell, I mean, his stats are all leaning towards strength, right? So it makes a lot of sense as to why that, he wants to go down that direction, basically, of, giving a strength bonus. You want to give him a lot of strength-based scene cards because his stats are all inclining towards strength anyways, right? So keep that in mind. Diva Harmonia is a very good scene card to have as well. The brand new scene card from the Gacha banner, by the way, is also not the worst for him. In fact, I would say it's pretty darn good, especially at max level, right? If you have it at max level because you've been summoning a lot, right? It gives 250 strength and 1000 dexterity. Stats alone, it is ridiculous. It is genuinely ridiculous. In fact, let me do one thing, right? A level 60 scene card right now is giving me 54,645, right? Just because of the stats of that scene card, right? Because of how high it is at level 35, I want to see how much it drops it by. Only 400 points. I wonder how much it'll give me at 600 at level 60 because, of course, of the fact that you're getting 1000 dexterity. I am genuinely curious because it's a solid like 25 level difference, right? It's a 5 limit break difference, and I'm still able to get that only a 600 decrease or 500 decrease or whatever it was. I think it's really good, in all honesty. That scene card is a very solid scene card as well for him, just based on stats alone. The ability of it is a little bit in all honesty. It's basically the same as the scene card Wicked Grin. But honestly, I think just generally speaking as well, with the stats alone, I think it's worth it. Honestly, I think it is worth it. In terms of battle pass scene cards, of course, I think the action skill damage one that we have, the familiar one that I have equipped on Bell right now, right? The one I have equipped on Bell right now, this one right here, of course, as well as the wind damage scene card. Both are very solid options as well, just because of the raw damage they will give, right? The Bell and Hestia celebration, as well as Welcome to a Night of Familiar Pride. And along with that, I would probably say that Asfi's scene card, this one that gives 50% special move damage and a 10% damage increase, is very solid. I think there are other scene cards like this, basically, damage boosting scene cards that are going to do relatively well, if not really well, with Bell, right? The way he is as a unit, generally speaking. And of course, like I said, just take a look at the stats. What does it give, right? So this one gives strength. It's really solid, right? It'll be a very good option for Bell, right? This one doesn't give any strength, but it is still giving you that action skill damage and damage increase along with the dexterity and stuff. So that'll make him a really solid option as well. In terms of battle items, of course, the Goliath Robe and Ushi Wakamaru, whenever we do get the green Ushi Wakamaru, that'll be really good. Sword of the Hero Cadmus actually is also not bad because of the stats you get and also the general boosts you get. I've got a very bad one right now. But let's say if I were to remake it and get the right ones, right, for example. So let's say if I do this and we were to get this one, right? When you attack a burnt enemy, you will get a bonus as well, which will be really solid. So if we take a look right here, yeah, you get an action skill damage enemy, action skill damage increase. And this is to when you attack a burnt enemy. It's not when you use this battle item like other event battle items. It is just a normal thing, which is really solid. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Bell in terms of his gameplay and general usage. I know that this video was fairly long, but I wanted to talk about a variety of things, and I will segregate this video into 3 parts basically. First will be the skills and kit info in more detail. Then we'll take a look at, of course, the whole festival unit situation, and then I'll talk about the gameplay and my recommendations when it comes to his kit and stuff. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about Bell. Again, I will be making a comparison video. Let me know if you think it's fair enough for me to do it the way I have it as set up as, with, of course, the likes of Ais, Wedding Ryu and Bell at their respective awakening levels. Or do you guys think that I should just wait until I maybe get another Ais or something, or ignore Ais and focus on Bell and Ryu for now, and then maybe you guys can put in, your thoughts of what you think about Ais in the mix in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. You guys are the one to decide it for me. I'll be the one to, listen to what you guys have to say down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.